We acknowledge that we are on the stolen lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. We acknowledge the continued resilience of First Nations peoples in the face of ongoing colonization and settlement. We acknowledge sovereignty was never ceded and a treaty was never signed.
Welcome to 3CR, Raising Our Voices on 8:55 AM. Today we are talking about Do Your Thing. I'm Lisa Brumtis from Brain Injury Matters, alongside the AMIDA Raising Our Voices committee. And I'd like to introduce our guest, Nadia, from Women with Disabilities Victoria.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi,
Nadia. Hi, everyone.
And today we'll be discussing women with disabilities and their project. Nadia, who is WDV, Women with Disabilities Victoria?
Okay, so WDV has been around for many, many moons. It basically came together a bunch of women who were, activists in their own right. Were not happy with the current then state of how the issues that impact on women with disabilities were being brought to the fore. And they organised themselves into a group quite a number of years ago, which eventually got some government funding and became Women with Disabilities Victoria. We are a member-led organisation. We elect a board. We pride ourselves on employing women with disabilities, and we pride ourselves also on the fact that we try and develop leadership skills amongst the women that are members of our organisation.
Thank you. And what do Women with Disabilities in Victoria do?
So we do a lot of work in relation to prevention of violence. We also do work in relation to the NDIS and how how women with disabilities participate as participants on the NDIS and the impacts that the NDIS has specifically on women with disabilities. We do a lot of work in educating the workforce in terms of responding to women who have experienced domestic violence. Particularly, we all know that for women with disabilities, the incidence of domestic violence is much greater than for women generally, unfortunately. And so we need to work with response providers to make sure that how they respond to women with disabilities is appropriate and meets their needs. We also do a lot of work in community development. So we have some projects that are looking at raising awareness of the barriers that women with disabilities face in the community. And we have leadership programs that we run for women with disabilities in both metropolitan and regional areas of Victoria. So there's quite a lot of work we do.
Yes, it is. And to top it off, how can someone become a member of Women with Disabilities?
So we have membership forms that people can fill out. Membership is free for women who identify or who have a disability or identify as having a disability. And you fill in that form and then you get to come to our members' lunch, which we hold annually. We also have an annual general meeting, which is actually happening on the 21st of November next week. And many other things that we do. We often consult with our members when we need groups to consult with. We usually often ask our members to be part of those groups, and generally people can access our newsletters and lots of other information that we provide. Our website is full of also our submissions that we put together. So not that you have to be a member to access that information, but there are things that are specifically membership only.
That's great. Next one, how do WDV engage in such things as social media?
So we have a YouTube channel where we have lots of videos We use Facebook regularly. We use Twitter and Instagram. Don't ask me about Twitter and Instagram. I don't use them. But apparently they're options of social media that people do use. So we're active on those options as well. And of course, we put up all our newsletters and our information on all of those channels.
Now, there's a member survey coming out shortly, which apparently will give women some input into looking at what membership should look like. Is that right?
It is, and you are right. So it's coming out probably, hopefully before Christmas, and it's a way that members can engage with us and tell us what they think we should be doing, what are the key areas that we should be working in. Is the NDIS really important to people and how women access the NDIS? Is prevention of violence something that we need to continue to work on? So we hope that lots of our members will respond to those surveys, and that will give us some ideas to take to our board about what we need to do in the future for women with disabilities.
That's great. Now, what is the Do Your Thing You Can Too project?
So we've produced a bunch of videos. There are 2 currently out in the, I don't know what you call the webosphere at the moment, and there's one being released today. And they're reasonably short videos. We felt as an organisation that there wasn't a lot of great representation of women with disabilities in the community, and we wanted to show, I guess, the things that women do that create a positive portrayal of women with disabilities. So we interviewed 10 women. Some of these women I did not know ever, and others I knew before we interviewed them. But there was a lot of things about those particular women that I did not know. So for those of you who know some of the women who will be in these videos, it will be really interesting to get your opinion on social media about what you think of the videos and what you might have learnt new about the particular woman that is being interviewed. So, we tried to create, I guess, good role models and just really positive representation of women with disabilities, and that they do absolutely contribute to society.
This is 3CR. You're listening to 8:55 AM, and we'd like to now play a song, Basement Jaxx, Do Your Thing. Hi, you're listening to Raising Our Voices on 3CR 8:55 AM, and I'm Lisa Brumtis. I'm speaking with Nadia from Women with Disabilities Victoria about what they're doing and their project Do Your Thing. Picking up from where we left off, isolation from women with disabilities is the aim of the project. And how to reach them, Nadia?
Yeah, so basically we wanted to... Women live everywhere, you know, and we're although we are based in Victoria, we know that there will be women who will see these videos from hopefully all over the country and maybe even the world. But we know that they live in metropolitan Melbourne. We know that they live in smaller towns and cities, and we know they live in isolated areas. They might live on a farm, you know, I don't know, 100 k's from the nearest town or more. And so we thought these videos would be a way to bring to them. Hopefully they have decent internet speed. Not everybody does these days. But they will be able to watch these videos in their own time, at their own pace, I guess, and just, I guess, learn from what the women who we've chosen, learn from them in terms of what they are doing, how they are living their lives, the amazing things that some of them are doing. We didn't want to make them inspirational at all, because we don't want that idea of, oh, isn't that nice, that lovely woman with a disability is doing this or that or whatever. We wanted to, I guess, give women ideas about how the women that we've chosen as participants live their lives, and maybe encourage them to, you know, think about the things that interest them and think about how they might participate in or begin those kind of activities.
Who are the people in the series, Nadia?
Well, some of them are women with disabilities who are quite high profile. Others are women that you don't know. Some have struggled in terms of their lives, and some have great support around them. So we've kind of, I guess, chosen women from all kinds of fields. I'm not going to mention the names at this point, but there is one participant who has just, her video will be released today, actually, and she's bedridden and she spends all her time in bed, but she has done some incredible things in her life. And I, as a person who doesn't know this woman, watching the video, it never crossed my mind all the things that she has done whilst being someone who's not able to get out of her bed, basically.
Can you tell us about information from each of the participants, please, and the focus of each video?
So, one person that we're interviewing that people will know about is Carly Finlay. She's an author, she's an activist. We have Shakira Hussein, who is an academic. We have Prue Stevenson. She's an artist and also is a consultant. We have Akasha, who is a musician, and her video is, I've seen that one, and that's amazing. And she has just moved, not long, has moved to a rural, not a rural city, but a city outside of Melbourne. We have Nicole Lee, who is a family violence and prevention and disability rights advocate. There's probably quite a few people who would know Nicole. We have another one that people would know, Larissa McFarlane, and she's an artist. She is videoed in her house. She has a brain injury and has to deal with, chronic pain on a daily basis. I also know she likes cats, and that's one of the things that I learnt while we were doing her video. The person I was talking about just previously, Ricky Buchanan, she leads the way in fighting for access to healthcare. She's housebound and a bedridden person. She shares her passion on the video about her crafts and her writing. Jodie Barney is a deaf woman, Aboriginal woman, and she is also of Irish heritage, which I didn't know about. And she chats about how her identity has led her to run a successful business, and also talks about her work with the community. Rosie Jeans, she loves sports and music and radio and the joys of being an independent woman. She's obtained employment as well, so she's got quite an active life, and I think we have video footage of her in the video playing football. We have Kate Barracus, I hope I've got that name right. She shares her love for acting and her work with children. She has an ambition to undertake further education, and shows her determination by achieving goals within her life. The first video that we released last week was a video from Akasha Temple, and now we're going to play you just a bit of the video so you can get an idea of how awesome these videos are.
I'm a survivor of child sexual abuse, and all the parts of that is that you feel empty, vague, nothing. This is a Catholic church. Mine was Anglican, and I see potato. It's very similar, is that both churches hid this. All of these were done by people whose loved ones have died, suicided, or people who know other people, other family members. So that's one of the darker sides of Ballarat. But for me, this is, it feels comfortable for me because I'm sort of amongst a culture and a society that have been through what I've been through. And now I've gone on from the stage of victim to survivor to what I think is a third stage, if there was, where I want to talk about and create art and music of my survival. Chloe's changed my life. Before Chloe, I had 16 years of domestic violence, which I was on the street, had to run away from. And the relationship with Chloe started just a tiny bit after that. Chloe really wanted to come here to Ballarat, and we said, we are not well living in Melbourne. We aren't getting given anything from Melbourne. We're exhausted. One of the other big reasons why I think I wanted to leave is that a lot of my old self and dead self is in Melbourne. And I think when I transitioned, it was very difficult for people after so many years of my previous self to see me as me now, which is very different. So what it has here done in Ballarat is that I'm able to be a woman here, and now it's 4 months. Our NDIS is working so well. We've got 3 days a week that we have support here for both of us with our autism. I've got work with a specialised adult art system here. We've linked in with the queer community, we've linked in with the trans community. So we're healing, and life is just great here. It's so much better.
That was Akasha Temple and an excerpt from her video. If you want to know more about her, watch the rest of the video.
How can people do that?
So if you join our Facebook page or look for us on Twitter, I'm sure there are posts. In fact, I know there are posts that our comms person has put up there, letting people know that our videos are up there. And then there will be a link to the particular video. And I also need to let people know that the videos are captioned, and that they are also audio described for people who are blind or have low vision. So there are different versions of the videos for people so that they can fully access the actual actions and what's happening within the videos, because it's not just somebody talking. In the background, it's showing people's personal photos, or I know in Akasha's video there's a scene of her and her partner Chloe dancing in a cafe. So if you want to see them do that, go and watch the videos.
Can I just ask, how did you go about choosing the women for the video?
So we did something really important in the first place. We employed two women, Naomi Cheney, I hope they're okay with me mentioning their names, and Nicole Symington, who some of the 3CR listeners may be aware of these women, and they are very well known in the community, and especially in terms of producing lots of projects of their own. Naomi has worked on Channel 31, and Nicole has done quite a lot of similar work. So they both applied and got the job. They're doing it as a job share, and so they have links into the community. And like I said, some of these women I knew of, but some of these women I had not heard of them before. So we are really, really glad that we have these two amazing women on board with us who knew and found these women who they thought would provide a different perspective of how they live their lives and give other women with disabilities, I guess, the idea that you don't have to be someone who is well known to be involved in a video, to be part of this project, and that you can be anybody and do anything, and I guess, live your life the way you choose.
So Nadia, can I ask, will there be a launch of the videos?
Not an official launch as such with food and, lots of people, but we are releasing the videos probably 2 or 3 a week, and there's up to 10 or so videos. So within the next, I guess, last week, this week, and probably within the next 2 or 3 weeks, if people keep checking the Women with Disabilities Victoria Facebook page, or go onto on YouTube and check out the WDV YouTube channel, they will see additions to the videos coming up. Like I said, we have one being released today. So if people go up onto the YouTube channel, they'll be able to see the 3rd video today, as well as the other 2 that have been released.
That sounds wonderful, Nadia. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thanks, Nadia, for our program today and the talk about Do Your Thing.
Thanks, Lisa.
And thanks for listening to Raising Our Voices on 8:55 AM. Stay tuned for our next show, which will be with the Mayor, Sally Capp, who'll be discussing Accessible Melbourne.
Able-bodied Australia does not realise that people with disabilities across the board are being discriminated against. Then the government to demand that we go out and get a job without removing the disincentives like the lack of access to transport and community infrastructure, without providing accessible buildings that can provide barrier-free employment. I'm not getting a fair go, and I don't like it, and I'm saying so.
You're listening to 3CR, 8:55 on the AM dial.
Human freedoms, fundamental, and justice are right. Equality's that thin line between wrong and right. When the earth is denuded and creatures oppressed, then justice and freedom are put to the test. We say freedom, freedom will come. Welcome freedom, welcome freedom. Justice, justice will come. Justice will come. Welcome justice, welcome justice. Ba 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 ba.
You've been listening to a 3CR podcast produced in the studios of independent community radio station 3CR in Melbourne, Australia. For more information, go to allthews.3cr.org.au.